my story didn't just start on the day I was injured. My injury happened on October 16, 2010. There was an Eric LeGrand for 20 years before that. I'm just trying to leave my mark here on this earth and not let this wheelchair hold me back from anything I want to do.
You. Say you see a fool. Say you see a fool. They talk some trash. They talk some trash. We play with class. We play with class. You see that score? You see that score? They don't want no more. They don't want no more. We won that fight. We won that fight. We party tonight.
Lisa Caprara, and I'm with the number 52, Eric LeGrand, Rutgers football, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, sports analyst, philanthropist. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And all the naming of the titles and all that. I appreciate it.
So tell us, this coffee shop you just opened up in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Yeah, so we're building out the inside right now. It's going to be my hometown of Woodbridge, New Jersey. We have opened up our online store back in January of this year, and it's been amazing. We've sold to 49 out of the 50 states throughout the country, and people are just loving their daily cups of believe.
That's awesome. I saw all the pictures on Instagram and everything. Where does it come from? What inspired you to open a coffee shop?
So during the pandemic last year, I was looking at my brand and trying to figure out how can I help people daily. It was crazy because when the pandemic was going on and COVID-19, a lot of my speaking engagements they either turned virtual or we had to reschedule or cancel them. So I was just trying to figure out, okay, I have a t-shirt company, clothing company, things like that. I do motivational speaking, but how can I help people daily? And I'm like, what do people want and what do people need? And coffee. 85% of the world drinks coffee. So I put I studied, I hired a business advisor, took a bunch of courses, and here we are, opened up my own coffee house, and I want to bring unity to the community with a daily cup of believe.
I'm a tea drinker, but I'm going to have to try your coffee.
Oh, I've started to learn about tea. What's your favorite type of tea?
I like Earl Grey, chamomile, Lipton, depends what day it is.
Very nice, very nice. So we will have some tea options at the storefront at LeGrand Coffee House.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. So a lot of athletes nowadays, they struggle with the transition from the sports world into the business world. What was that transition like for you? What challenges did you have to face? What did you learn?
Well, it's kind of forced upon me, obviously, with my injury. So
yeah,
it's not like I walked away on my own. So I had to figure out a plan and formulate a plan at the beginning of my injury. My number one plan was to finish college. I wanted to graduate with my degree, and I was able to finish in 2014. But at the same time, I was still working. And, honestly, it kind of fell upon me because I was always a good storyteller and I could always speak. I was always good public speaking wise. And people wanted to know more and more about my story as years were going on. And 2 years into my injury, people still wanted to know my progress. So I kind of was able to shape my story into motivational speaking. And it took off from there and then launching my foundation, Team LeGrand, of the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, writing a book. And yeah, it just kind of took off and kind of fell into my lap. But I know a lot of times people struggle finding their identity after they've known only one thing their whole life or being something their entire life. And sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone and think of a bigger picture or another way that you could use that same motivation and that hard work that you put into your sport, but now into the business world.
The last time I heard your story, I remember, was in elementary school at Saltbrook School, New Jersey.
Making me feel old now.
How's the progress holding up now? What's the update?
Well, I actually just started going back to Kessler Institute in West Orange, New Jersey to do again my outpatient therapy. When COVID-19 hit last March, I stopped going to therapy. I didn't want to risk it. Obviously, with a spinal cord injury, we have secondary complications that come with that. So God forbid I, get the coronavirus. It could be very bad for me. So I was very cautious, but I actually just started back up last Wednesday, and I'm going once a week now to get back after it. I was doing a lot of home therapy for a while just to keep my body strong and keep my blood flowing and things like that. So it's been good. Controlling what I can control. Everything else I leave in God's hands.
That's awesome. How did you keep your mindset so strong? What do you do to remain that mindset?
So I've always, as an athlete, I've always been challenged mentally throughout the years. Like people ask me all the time, like, like, how do you get mental toughness? And it's doing things and things that you don't want to do and creating habits around them. Like I always try to tell people, can't just flip on a switch and be like, oh yeah, I'm mentally tough. No,
Yeah.
you have to train yourself. Like, and I try to tell people, create habits of things that you don't like to do, put in a positive structure. Like say you wake up in the morning, you hate making your bed, you hate doing it, but do that 5 days in a row, 10 days in a row, 15 days in a row. After a while, it becomes habit. You're like, you know what? If you don't do it, you feel kind of weird. So that's why I
Yeah.
try to tell people when it comes to mental toughness. And me, I actually started to get into audiobooks, start listening to people's stories. Back when I started getting my mind spinning on different ideas, things of that nature. And that's kind of how I got through the pandemic when I wasn't seeing a lot of family and friends throughout. So a lot, like I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
I kind of had to go into my introvert side, and I'm definitely an extrovert, but I know how to do both. I know how to do both now.
What are your thoughts on Greg Schiano returning to Rutgers football?
I'm fired up. It's a fun time right now at Rutgers, and just
Yeah.
I know what type of coach he is. I know what he demands out of all his players, and I said those 18 to 22-year-olds deserve a coach like him who's going to take them as young boys and turn them into grown men by the time that they leave the program and go
Yeah.
down, whether it's to the NFL or just out into the real world in general. They're going to be better people, and they're going to be built for that. They're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah. Yeah. Some athletes, when things get hard, they're not mentally tough and they quit. What advice do you have to give to those that just give up when things get hard? Like fitness, anything. Like what advice do you have to tell them?
I've been there, when I've had my position changed 4 different times in 1 year. You're going through off the field issues, relationships, and all that type of stuff. You always have to remember the bigger picture and your why. If you truly love something, so it's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be fun. And a lot of times you're going to have to sacrifice other things of pleasure in order to get to the goal that you want to get to. It's not just a smooth ride. It's a ride with different potholes and speed bumps and mountains to climb. But when you finally get to that peak, it's just like, whoa, it was all worth it. And that's where you truly learn about yourself when you go through those struggling times in the process and you realize how strong you actually can be.
What emotions do you feel when you go back to MetLife Stadium?
In the beginning, when I first went there, it was a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remember the first thing I did was looking for the. I was like, all right, what side was it where I got hurt? Like, which 25-yard line was it? And like spotting it. And then, now when I go back there now, it's kind of, just going back to the stadium because I've been there so many times. But in the very beginning, it was a little bit like, weird. Like,
Yeah.
this is where I got hurt. This is where it all happened. This is where my life changed, and you kind of get those like chills, like that go
Yeah.
down your spine, a weird pit in your chest, like ooh. And
Yeah.
now I think I'm all good.
What's one song that keeps you going every day? You have a favorite song that pumps you up?
It's crazy. As an athlete, I used to be such a music head. I used to love music so much. Since I'm not like I don't get in the car and drive myself everywhere. Like I don't listen to music as much, but I love throwing on some Drake. Like I growing up, I was a little bit. That was my guy. That when he came, when he really came on the scene in like 2004, 2005, that's when I was, he was the man. And now, anything you throw on Drake wise, I'm ready to rock out. Or actually, so I could speak a little bit of Spanish. So I blast, I blast Bad Bunny and Osuna every day.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, Bad Bunny.
I saw you had a virtual 5K during the pandemic. What was that like?
2 of them. So every year we have my annual Walk to Believe that's usually held at Rutgers Football Stadium. Throughout the Bush Camp, it's a 5K walk that we do for my charity. And obviously with COVID last year, we had to pivot. Like, are we gonna have it? How are we gonna do it? And then we ended up saying, you know what, let's do it virtually. And who would have thought? We got over 1,500 people throughout the entire world. We had all 52 states. We did a 52 for 52 challenge. We get one participant from every state and 2 U.S. territories to participate. We got that, and even 10 countries involved the first year. We raised $190,000. It was insane. And then this year, we did the same thing again. And we got another 52 for 52 checked off, and 15 countries this time. So it was amazing to just see the support and people wanting to get behind the mission and the cause to find a cure for paralysis. And it's really cool to just see the when people they want to do good things for you in your darkest moments.
What does the everyday schedule look like for you? Like, what's the everyday Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for Eric LeGrand?
And the best part about that, I love this question, is because I'm the type of person where every day is different.
Everything's different.
I'm not on like I go get up, go to work, go to not like obviously I have work that I have to do this and that, but some days I have speaking. Some days I have interviews like this. Other
Yeah.
days I have events I have to go to. Other days I have therapy I have to go to. Some days I have meetings. Like every day is different.
Busy.
Friends. It's always busy, but every day is just different, which I think is the most exciting part about it.
What are your thoughts on the new rules over the years? Football's changed so much. What are your thoughts about that?
Honestly, I think they're doing the best that they can when it comes to protecting the game. Football is a dangerous game.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, no ways around it. It's a dangerous game. You got people running full speed into each other. The best thing I think they started to implement is in these young youth leagues like Pop Warner Football, they're actually making the coaches become registered now. Like they have to go through classes and courses in order to become a coach first. Because when I was growing up, anybody, Jimbo's dad gets up
No
and
one's helping.
oh yeah, run full speed into each other, bam. You know what I mean? Like it was never really taught the technique wise. Now they're actually putting their coaches got to go through courses and learn the proper training so they can teach the young kids how to use the proper technique at a young age. And I think that's the best thing that they can do because then it'll just be trained behavior becomes instinct. You learn it when you're 5 years old and when you're playing in high school when you're 15 years old, in college 18, and then if you make it to the NFL, you'll know that right way. So there's a lot of things I still don't like where they're calling penalties on in games. I'm just like, yeah, that's just too soft. Sorry.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think they can do a good job, but there's just some things that definitely can be rectified. Like, come on, man, there's nothing that person can do in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of parents out there that are nervous to sign their kid up for football because of concussion, injury, this and that. What would you say to them and their kid?
I say if your kid wants to play the game of football and he is passionate about it, let him go out there and play. Let them, honestly, football was the best teacher of life for me. It taught me how to deal with adversity, how to work together as a team, how to become a leader, a public speaker, how to be able to go through self-evaluation periods where I had to work for goals and train hard for only a certain amount of opportunities you get to play the game. You only you get 10 opportunities to actually go out there and play.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, all off season, you work your butt off to play. So it's teaching you how to be able to work hard for something, for a goal. So I always try to tell parents, if your kid's passionate about it, they want to play, let them play, because it's not only about the game of football, but it's also going to teach them for the game of life.
Yeah, I agree. What age did you fall in love with football?
When I was 5 years old, and it's funny because this is old school stuff back in the 90s, where we used to play a game called Kill a Man with the Ball. So everyone had to run and tackle, and there was these kids that were my age. Doug and Joey were my age. We were the same age, but then there was this one kid, Charlie, who was about 5 years older than us. And every now and then when I got the ball, I would juke him out and score. Get to and that adrenaline rush at 5 years old was like, woo, like I want to play this game, man.
That's awesome. I love that. That passion always stuck with you. I mean, even through what you've been through, you still go back to the field. And that's powerful.
I played baseball and basketball growing up as well, but there was nothing like a football adrenaline rush. And I talked to my nephews about it now. My older nephew, Xavier, he plays baseball, football, basketball. And I was actually talking to him when football season was about to start. He's a little bit smaller than the kids that he's going up against, but he's just like, I want to play. There's just no adrenaline rush like the game of football. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's my boy.
What can you compare that energy, that football adrenaline, to anything else? What can you compare it to?
I don't know what to compare it to because it's just something that when you're lined up in the tunnel about to run out.
Yeah.
I guess because baseball and basketball, you get those butterfly feelings, but you get so many opportunities. Like you play twice, 2 or 3 times a week in basketball. Same thing with baseball. You play every day with football. It's once a week with like 10 opportunities. Pop Warner 8 opportunities, high school 10 opportunities, college maybe 12. and you don't get that many opportunities to actually play. So when you do, it just means that much more.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite movie that you like to watch?
Between Remember the Titans and Friday Night Lights, those are my. You
Like,
know, I grew up on those two, so football movies are always right at the top of the list for me.
you have a lot of credentials. You've been all over the place telling your story. What was the favorite place you've been to?
There was nothing like being at the ESPYS, winning the Jimmy V Award for Perseverance in front of, thousands and thousands of celebrities and then millions of people watching and being able to go up there on that stage and share my story. Look down, you see Eli Manning, Tim Tebow, and Kenny Chesney in the front row looking up at you, and you're just like, whoa, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
You get to share your story amongst so many celebrities. And after the ESPYs was over, they have an after party. And I became the life of the party. Everyone wanted to come take a picture with me. It was just absolutely insane. I was taking shots with the Gronkowski brothers.
That's funny. When you're alone, you see a little kid who has a football in his hand. What do you want to tell him? What's that one thing you want him to know?
Like getting that ball in your hand right now change your life forever. In a very positive way if you respect the game. You respect the game, but you're going to get so much more out of the game than you can actually give to the game because of what it brings in the fellowship, the team, camaraderie, just everything that goes into that ball right there, all the hard work, the determination. Oh man, it just gives me the chills even thinking about it. It could be something. See that little kid right there, you say, you know what? You treat that ball with respect, watch where that ball will take you in your life.
I love that. What's the future look like for Eric LeGrand?
No one knows. And the best part about it, when people ask me my life and my plan, I say, that mad scientist that has all those different equations and quadratic
Yeah.
solutions, and at the bottom of it, you see that's the answer. Like you have no idea how they got there, and then at the bottom, there's the answer. That's my life. All these different quadratic equations and this and that, all drawn up on the board, and then at the bottom little corner, it's like, boom, it all makes sense there.
Life throws crazy things at you. It makes you a stronger person. You've been through it all. You are definitely someone to look up to because your words mean a lot. Your words are very powerful to the world.
I just try to put things in perspective for people. A lot of times we take a lot of stuff for granted in this world that we live in and don't appreciate the things that we do have. And we always want to focus on the things that we don't have.
When I drink my cup of tea at your shop, what's the message that you're trying to send me?
You're going to be reminded that every sip that you take is just a daily affirmation of go out there, be the best that you can be, live your life to the fullest, and be kind to somebody else, help somebody else. And if you're going through a tough time, don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone is always welcome at the LeGrand Coffee House.
Eric, thank you so much. I am one in millions of people that are rooting for you every single day and believe in you every single day.
I appreciate that, Lisa. Much love to you, girl.